Today is a day of celebration for the zombies community, hopefully for two reasons. There's some really great news on the Treyarch front, but also, this guy is now live! So if your very own mini MrRoflWaffles sounds appealing with his very own whiteboard, then all you've got to do is go to the link in the description down below. That'll take you to this page, and then you just need to add Mini Milo to your cart. And once you purchase and you check out and you're done, we've got to wait for the pre-order window to close because we need everybody's orders to be in. And then we'll start producing them because they all get hand painted. Like, these are very much handcrafted figures. So that process will happen and then they'll ship, okay? Just to sort of make sure that we're all clear on that. These take a little while to be made because we want to make sure that they're absolutely perfect for you guys. So make sure if you're thinking about getting one, you get one before the sale ends in a couple of weeks' time. And also, anybody who completes their order before Christmas is going to get entered into a little raffle, and we're going to pick winners from that raffle, and you're going to be able to pick a game of zombies to play with me, and we'll do an Easter egg together. We can do it on stream, we can do it off stream. The choice is yours, but the raffle is just going to be for people who complete their order in the period between right now, today, the second this goes live, and Christmas Day. So don't hang about, okay? Get those orders in. And also, while you're on the Youtooz site, if you go to youtooz.com/Milo, all of the Call of Duty Zombies Youtooz can get a discount applied if you use code Milo. So take a look at those as well and see if there's any extras that you might want. That's the first piece of good news. I'm just thrilled. What can I say? Like, it's me. It's me, dude. It's wild. It's actually so surreal for me. So forgive me for being excited about that. Forgive me for kind of dwelling on that a little bit, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit of a dream come true, you know? I think that's really cool. And in other news of dreams coming true, Treyarch is listening to us. Yes, Treyarch is not only listening, but they're hearing the feedback that I gave at length in yesterday's news video, and immediately they are implementing the changes that you guys will benefit from massively. So one of the things I commented on yesterday was that Treyarch was kind of weirdly telling us to like back off, right? They were being like, guys, leave us alone. We're putting the known issues that we've got on the Trello. It takes time to fix things, like just give us some space, okay? But the Trello wasn't updated, and it hadn't been updated in weeks. There were still issues from like Terminus Liberty Falls that were still being mentioned on their pre-Citadel Day more. So I called this out and I was like, guys, I totally respect the fact that dev is difficult and you've got to juggle different patches and different things, different tweaks, different bug squashes happening at different times. But if you're going to point us to the Trello and the Trello's weeks out of date, of course we're going to be like, well, we're not being listened to, right? They heard the feedback, and within hours of the video going live, they'd updated the Trello, and they said the damage reduction for the elemental swords against the boss was greater than intended. So that was good news. Just off the rip, like, I would have been happy there, to be honest. The fact that they were then acknowledging it, and they'd put this little yellow tag on it, which said fix scheduled, like, that is great in itself. But then Treyarch went above and beyond and responded to some more of the feedback. This tweet came out and said, yesterday's elemental sword wonder weapon damage reduction to the main quest boss was greater than intended, just like we saw in the Trello. This has been corrected, and the elemental swords wonder weapon now deal much greater damage against the Citadel Daymore main quest boss, providing a competitive option for boss damage. Oh, I used to pray for times like this. We also have additional adjustments and improvements planned for the elemental sword wonder weapons in a future update. Speechless. I am speechless. Like, this is everything I asked for. It's quite literally everything I asked for. And you can say that I'm negative when I'm negative, but you've got to acknowledge that I'm positive when I'm positive, okay? And this is positive. This is so good, because just to sort of specifically lay it out so that we can use this as a model and an expectation for future communications, which I've consistently said have been somewhat lacking in the zombies department for this game, they said on the Trello that they were aware of an issue, right? Number one, that gives the zombies community the feeling that we don't need to just keep saying over and over again in my Twitter mentions, in my video comments and stuff like that when I ask people to do so, that certain things in the game are broken, right? We don't need to keep harping on about that and talking about it in videos if Treyarch has said, we know, right? that just instantly soothes everybody. So the Trello update, first thing, it's big. It is a big deal for them to just acknowledge that there is a problem, okay? The second thing is that it wasn't just acknowledging a problem, but it was this yellow tag, okay? Which makes a big difference. Might feel like an overreaction, but this is investigating, right? This orange one, whereas this yellow means that they're actually gonna do something about it. So there's anticipation that not only have they heard what we're saying, but they've actually identified it and they do plan to address it in some capacity, right? So that in itself is also a big win. Thank you, Treyarch. Let's see more of that in the future. Amazing stuff. But then to add this on top, saying it was greater than intended and it's already been corrected, first of all, that was so swift to go from investigating to fix scheduled to fix live. Like, really wonderful that that was the sort of speed of turnaround there. But also, they've acknowledged that the swords now provide a competitive option for boss damage. So they're thinking about the fact that, as I said in a tweet the other day, in this, I said, like, I thought that the point of the boss fight was for melee to be powerful, right? Sure, the drill was OP. We all agree the drill was OP, but for swords specifically, I thought it was cool that powerful melee weapons are the theme of the map, and then they would be usable in the boss and still be powerful, right? And so having them taken away and the boss just becoming a bullet sponge was just less fun. And Jay here, I echoed because I said this is basically exactly how I feel, and he said the right move would be to nerf the drill against the boss but buff the swords so you're more likely to use them. It's the major focus of the map, so them being useless in the fight makes no sense from a design perspective. And I was like, I want to echo this. This is exactly how I feel about it, is what I said, right? And somehow still people thought that I was saying they shouldn't have nerfed the drill. Like, I also just want to go on a quick tangent here. There's some really weird cognitive dissonance that's happened around my reporting on this story, where some people seem to think that in the video yesterday, I said they should not have nerfed the drill, like, at all. That the drill was, like, balanced, right? I don't understand it. I don't understand what the confusion is that's happening there, because in the video, I just don't say those words. But people have projected that assumed opinion onto me so much in the last 48 hours, and I don't get it. So my actual words are me saying this is basically exactly how I feel. They should have nerfed the drill but buffed the swords because of the fact that it makes sense from even just a thematic perspective on the map. And so Treyarch's comment here, where they say they now deal much more damage against the boss and they're a competitive option now, kind of gives me a little bit of an inkling and a little bit of a feeling, it's not explicit, but it's in the background there, that they might feel like swords being a competitive option should be the case, right? They no longer should be weaker, because when it was nerfed, it felt like Treyarch was saying they should be weaker, but they're now at least saying swords should be competitive because they're such a big feature of the map. And the actual implementation of this fix shows that even further, because in the game now, swords are one of the best weapons for destroying the boss's armor. So they've not just sort of said it in this tweet, but they've expressed it through design language as well. And it's a really good change, because now you go into the fight, you break the boss's knee shields and the elbow plates or whatever with the sword, and then you can get the center chest crit and you can do bullet damage on that and take the boss down much faster. It's good. It makes sense. It rewards you for knowing that the swords are powerful. It also rewards you for knowing the boss mechanics. It's good. Like, this is all good. So both from a comms perspective and from a design perspective, they've cooked here, which is great news. And then the cherry on top of all of that, again, to be explicit about what's good here so that we can really articulate why we like this change from Treyarch and what we want to see from them in the future, is the fact that they also comment on the fact that they are going to make additional adjustments and improvements to the elemental swords in a future update. And that's what we've been saying all this time about them being too weak in general, right? We've been saying the swords are simply underpowered in some cases, or in my personal opinion, they're not super underpowered, but they could do with some slight quality of life improvements and some slight buffs perhaps. Like, even if they just hit 2 zombies at once instead of 1, I think that would be a huge positive improvement for them. And there's been a huge amount of community discourse about this, but Treyarch has been silent on it until now, and the fact that they're saying that they are planning to at least take a look at it in the future is great. It is great. So Treyarch, when we're talking about these things, right, and you're telling us, guys, bug fixes are difficult and sometimes they take longer and sometimes they take shorter, okay? And just back off, right? When you're telling us that stuff, I understand the feeling within the studio that you basically are under a huge amount of pressure from millions of people all wanting you to adjust the game to fit their particular desires and needs and likes all at once, right? Instantaneously. I get it. I get that that's a huge amount of pressure to be under, and I get the the instinctive decision, the instinctive kind of feeling to say, okay, well, let's just point them to the Trello, right? Let's just push them away and have their focus elsewhere. Just like, let's relieve the pressure a little bit. I'm super sympathetic to that. But by executing this strategy that we've done here, when we've gone from Trello to tweet to in-game patch, that's really a fantastic patch as well, it's going to build so much goodwill, and it's going to mean that the pressure itself is relieved because we know you're working on it, right? We know that we're being listened to. We know that we're heard. It took how long for Treyarch to comment on the fact that Vermin rounds were too long? Like over a month. That's a month for something that happens every 5 rounds in the game. That's insane, right? So you can hopefully understand that as much as we understand that the development process is hard, you also could throw us a bone with just some minor communications tweaks like we're seeing here, which would make all of us feel listened to in a really powerful way. And that's going to mean that the yapping that I'm doing, saying, this still isn't fixed, this still isn't fixed, this still isn't fixed, mentioning it every day will be nullified because I won't need to mention it every day because you'll have commented on it, right? That's all I'm trying to create here, is an environment where the community feels spoken to by the devs, so that I don't have a million people in my, like, I get emails, right? This is not what my emails are for, right? It is categorically not what my emails are for, but I get emails that, like, my team see. I don't even necessarily see them. My team see, and it'll be like, hey, Milo, I just got to the orb step and the orb wasn't there. And I'm soft locked now. What do I do, right? Because people are frustrated if they put an hour into a game and then it doesn't work. They want to express that somewhere. They want to feel heard. And as much as they can direct that sentiment towards me, I can't store all of that up myself as well because I'm not the Treyarch community manager, right? Like, I'm not in studio with visibility on what fixes are actually happening and what aren't. So all I can do in those scenarios, bearing in mind that Treyarch has a lot of pressure from people, right? I then also have a lot of pressure to just try and make my audience feel as heard as I can. So that's why I keep yapping on about this stuff. And it means that I can then say to those people that email me or comment or tweet or whatever, I can say to those people, Treyarch are working on it. Look at the Trello, right? It gives me a way to help diffuse their anxiousness and internal frustrations as well, right? So everybody wins. It's community building. It's what I've been saying for months at this point. It all comes down to comms. And this is so good. So can we please, just as a community together, I'm gonna go back to full screen here. Can we please just observe what has happened in the last 72 hours, from bad change happening to vocalization of what the bad change was, to Treyarch realizing that there was actually a better comm strategy that they could employ here to fix, right? In the future, it might be the case that we can skip the part of the process where I have to be like, guys, it's been 24 hours, Treyarch still haven't commented on this is still really bad, this shouldn't have happened in the first place, etc. We can skip that entire part of the process by Treyarch just being really on it with the Trello in the first place, so that I don't need to prompt them to be like, guys, the Trello is weeks out of date, let's sort it. That can just be flowing already. And then when I make my news video, I can be like, guys, the swords have been nerfed and it's tragic, but Treyarch have already put it on the Trello that they're working on it, so it's all going to be okay, right? Just think of how good things will be if we can get to that point where that's every single time, right? That is my hope. So Treyarch have done very well here, and I want to be very, very grateful to them for that, and I want to see this continue, okay? We've got to praise good things when they happen, and this is absolutely one of them. So Treyarch, thank you for this. I look forward to the sword balance patch coming in a future update, and that's pretty much all I've got to say today, guys, to be honest. Like, there's some leak stuff that I could talk about. There's all sorts of bits and pieces. We'll save that for a news video tomorrow. I think the main thing is just to remind you guys that this guy's now live. So, I mean, the whiteboard works. Clearly, the whiteboard works. Like, this has done us good today. And you guys, specifically, you guys have done us good today as well, because it's your voice here that I've been able to amplify, right? That's actually made this happen, which is great. It is great. So keep making your Reddit threads, keep writing your tweets, keep clipping issues that are happening in the game and posting them to Twitter and posting them to YouTube and making your own discussions about them on Discord and like all this stuff, right? Keep that coming, because it's only ever going to make Treyarch's life easier if there is ample communication happening from our side to help inform them as to what's wrong, right? Just keep it constructive, as we've all been trying to do, as much as sometimes it can be frustrating when something that is wasting your time in game goes wrong and you're like, oh my God, I just lost 2 hours of my evening. That sucks. Let's all try wherever we can to keep it constructive as we've been doing, and hopefully good things like this will continue in the future. I'm literally glazing a tweet right now. It's actually crazy. If you really deep what's happening, I am glazing a single tweet that they put out and then a fix to a patch that shouldn't have happened. Like, I'm glazing it very hard, but it's because this is the change that I want to see. So glaze away, I shall, okay? The positive and the negative, it's important. It's important to be able to do both sides, the positive and the negative. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Treyarch, for this. Mini Milo's out now, but he'll only be on sale for a couple of weeks, and then this little guy will never go on sale ever again. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.